man, those words are so true. Wow.
But the truth has undermined your foundation by so many people now in the know. You thought that you'd see the day that you could just get away from the ones you betrayed, who raised their voices to say you won't be trusted.
No, you won't.
Anymore.
All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It is the 10th of March, 2026. These are the WTF reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist, with the facts, WTF. And if those facts make you exclaim, what the... Anyway, I won't go there, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's not like we don't have enough reasons to make that exclamation. It's just crazy. It's getting crazier and crazier every day. And you got to keep your head screwed on tight, folks. Got to keep your head screwed on tight. There are a million lies, but there's only one truth. And we're doing our best to sort through all the subterfuge, the propaganda, the horse hockey, the BS, the lies, the gaslighting. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Anyway, welcome to Taco Tuesday. And there's a bunch of stuff I've got to get to today. I don't know if I'll take any calls because I got so much stuff I want to talk about and to share with you. But right off the bat, I'm going to back up a little bit. A couple of weeks ago, I did a couple programs having to do with our food supply and the questionable things that are being put into our food supply. And as a matter of fact, there was, I don't know if you've heard, but there were the reports about hot dogs being found with human DNA. I'll tell you what, I'll just play the audio. And again, there were several mainstream network affiliate stations that were talking about human DNA and human flesh in our food supply. And I know that sounds disgusting. But I'm sorry, I'm not making this stuff. Anyway, here's a report, and I think this was in Ohio that they made this report. I forget which television station it is, but anyway, here's the audio for it.
People who eat hot dogs eat them because they taste so good.
Oh, so good.
But what's in them is not so good. You know, we've learned to accept it, but I don't know if you'll feel so accepting after this. The company Clear Foods recently analyzed 345 hot dog and sausage products from 75 brands and retailers and found, are you hot dog lovers ready for this? Human DNA in 2% of the samples and in 2/3 of the vegetarian samples. Uh-oh. And get this, 10% of all vegetarian products appear to contain meat. Clear Foods says that there are some companies producing high-quality hot dog, top scores to Butterball, McCormick, Eckrich, and Hebrew National. Human DNA.
Human DNA. And then back in 2019, there was a television cooking show. I have the audio for that one here someplace as well. But a cooking show. Let me see if I can find that. That basically was talking about a sausage, and they said the contestants had to guess what the secret ingredient was. The first ingredient that they suggested was liver, the next one was shark, and the third was human flesh. Believe it or not, and then when they revealed what it was, and the chef said it was human flesh, I mean, people were freaking out. Now, I'm not making this stuff up, folks. I am not making this stuff up. But let me see if I can find that, if I can pull that one down. Let me see if I still have that. I know I've got it in here someplace, but, I'll tell you what, I got too much other stuff to get to. But anyway, so we're hearing about human flesh and human DNA showing up in our food supply. Well, lately, just now, let me see, where is it? McRib, McDonald's. McDonald's? Yeah, McDonald's. Here is the audio from a guy that did a little bit of research. And I did a little bit of research too, but I'm going to set the table here. Let's give this guy a listen here.
I will never eat anything out of a drive-thru again. after these files have came out and the shit that I have read, the shit that you have read, it made me start thinking about the seasonal McRib. So I did a little research about this frickin' McRib. It is singularly produced, solely produced in a factory called OSI in Chicago. Chicago produces a huge amount of these, but they're only around for a very limited time. With that being said, you can Google how much the FDA allows, percentage-wise, of human DNA to be found in commercial meats to be sold. The OSI plant, if you go to their website, during the 6-week period that they are selling the McRib sandwich, they go through 7 million pounds. They can have up to 6% human DNA in each patty. And that is perfectly legal. You can Google it. I ain't ever eaten McDonald's ever again.
Oh, my goodness. Now, again, this is just, there's so many reports about human DNA, human flesh in the food supply. So I did a little search on that, okay? We just heard about that 6%. All right, so I went to my browser. In this particular case, I'm using Brave, and I typed in FDA 6% human meat hamburger. All right, I did a search. All right, what came up right off the bat, okay, and it's on the left side you got all your links to different articles, et cetera, and on the right side it gives you a general description. Okay, so on the left side I read, here it is, listen to this. The FDA does not permit human flesh to be included in any food product as it is illegal and considered a severe contamination event. Period. All right? That's what it says on this side of the page. Again, I repeat, it says the FDA does not permit human flesh to be included in any food product as it is illegal and considered a severe contamination event. On the right side of the same page, the question is, what percentage of human flesh is allowed by the FDA according to Hugo? Final answer? There is no specific regulation or guideline regarding the allowable percentage of human flesh by the FDA. So which is it? Either there's no specific regulation or guideline regarding the allowable percentage of human flesh, or the FDA does not permit human flesh to be included in any food product. Which is it? You can't have it both ways. Now, this is some crazy stuff, folks. This is some crazy, over-the-top, nuts, dumbhead, wacko, insane stuff. And now we go back to the conspiracy theorists. Yeah, okay, yeah, you can't talk about this. And I'm going to go back, I'm going back over 20 years. In 2004, 22 years ago, before we had AI, before we had any of that, there was a telephone interview that was being carried out by James Wickstrom, who you could do a little research, and yes, he is called a right-wing extremist, neo-Nazi, anti-Semite, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so, I just want to get that on the table here. Okay, this guy has, a reputation, shall we say, or shall I call it a label? I don't know. We don't know what to believe these days. But this audio interview carried out by James Wickstrom with Abe Finkelstein, who is a rabbi. Now, when we first heard about this, and you could do research on it, and of course, that'll come up and say, this is a crazy fabrication, it's a conspiracy theory. They've been saying this for, like I said, 22 years. But now that we're getting all this information out about what percentage of human DNA is being found in hot dogs and what percentage of human flesh is being found in hamburgers and McRibs and stuff, now we have to go back and say, wait a second. Maybe Finkelstein wasn't lying. Here it is. Now take it for what it's worth. I'm prefacing this. I'm qualifying this. Is this conspiracy theory? Is this craziness? Is this just some fabrication from AI? And again, here is, James Wickstrom and Abe Finkelstein. Here it is.
I I know you know because I've heard it on your show before. I mean, we steal 100 to 300,000 children a year just here in this country, and we drain their blood and we mix it with a Passover bread, and then we throw the bodies into the slaughterhouses that we own, and we grind up all the bodies in the sausage and the hamburger. McDonald's is one of our favorite outlets.
Whoa.
And the people, they eat it for breakfast, they eat it, their children for lunch, and us Jews, we gotta do what we do. The most important thing to remember between you, Pastor Wickstrom, and me, Rabbi Aby Finkelstein of New York, that we both have two fathers, and so that's why we look at the world in two different ways.
And we know that there's a massive collision that's going to take place between two forces, don't we?
Well, that's what your book says. Our book says that we're going to take over the world.
Well, I look at you...
You're doing a pretty good job right now.
Yes, you've done a pretty good job, but there's quite an awakening coming. And my father, who's not your father, my father Yahweh, who isn't your father, of course, your father is talked about by my father in John 8:44, stating that your father was Satan and that you're the descendant of Cain, who was the first murderer. And you know that's true because you teach it in your synagogue.
Oh, that's true, but it's not for you, Goyim, to know. But right now it's too late. It's over for you, white race. So that's why I'm speaking so honestly here, to bring it out into the open so that you can see it for what it is. You've been teaching the people real good, but they don't wake up, do they? You don't get a lot of followers, do they? Because you know why? They're scared of us Jews, because they don't want to be called anti-Semites, and they believe that we're the chosen people, and so that's why we can do whatever we want to do, and we can get away with it because the white men are cowards, and we go to the synagogue all the time and have some Manischewitz and dance the Hava Nagila.
All right. Now, I know there's a lot of folks out there going to be PO'd about this. I'm sorry. I'm just here to share with you what's out there. Now, again, this is really difficult for a lot of people to grasp, to grok, whatever. But the point is that now, in the past, several years, more and more people are starting to pay attention to this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. Yeah, what's been going on with the child sacrifice? It goes way, way beyond child sex exploitation. Way, way, way beyond that. Way beyond that. Beyond your wildest imagination. And yes, that there is, as a matter of fact, there's a photograph of Jeffrey Epstein in his office, and right behind him is a bookshelf, and on that bookshelf is the complete Talmud, all the volumes from the Talmud. Okay, now we know, as people have been doing research on what's in the Talmud, a lot of people are starting to understand that, yes, we are all goyim in their eyes. Okay, we are not even human beings in their eyes. They can do anything that they want to us in their eyes. But the bottom line here, folks, is that now since all of this Epstein stuff is coming out, and all of the the revelations, the revealing, if you will, about what was going on, and the simple fact that nobody, zero. Well, Ghislaine Maxwell, of course, was gone to trial. But you know what? A few weeks ago, she was called in to testify, and people took a picture of her. And I got to tell you, the woman that was there to testify does not look like the original Ghislaine Maxwell. Are they switching out people? Yeah. Are there body doubles or clones out there? I think there are. I really do. But there are still some people out there that can't grasp this, and they refuse to grasp that. As a matter of fact, there was a young woman who posted this, saying, "Oh, they would never do that." No, they'd never do that. Here she is.
I love the torture video. That's what Jeffrey Epstein said to... And of course, we know the name of the person. It's not redacted or anything at all because they don't want to hide all the bad people from us and protect them when they should be protecting victims. And they would absolutely not redact the name of that person.
No.
And that's why we know.
They'd never
right?
They'd never do
They would
that.
never redact that name, just like they would never redact the name of the person that Jeffrey Epstein asked, do you want me to just do her or do you want me to torture her? They would never redact that name either. They also wouldn't redact the name of the person that gave Jeffrey Epstein permission to kill someone. They would never do that. Why would they do that? They're just trying to protect us from the bad people, so of course they would never do that. They would never redact those names. Did you know that the intestines of babies taste like cream cheese? Did you know that? I know that now. I didn't want to know that, but I know that now because they figured that out when they were eating babies on yachts. Did you know that? Isn't that terrifying? It's a great thing to know. Did you know that they were making little girls into breeding farms where they would breed them over and over and over and force them to have babies over and over and take those babies? If they were miscarriages or if there were complications, they would rip them out with hooks and scary implements. Did you know that? It's a good thing that they would never hide the names of the people that did that because they want to protect the perpetrators rather than the victims. They would never do that. It's a good thing that we have a great justice system that would never do anything bad, like take 200,000 plus documents that include the actual horrible things that were done, like child rape and injury, and hide those away and say that the case is closed and that we will never get to see those that included the actual bad things so we know exactly who did what. The government would never do that. It's a good thing they would never redact the names of the bad people and protect them. They would never do that.
No, they would never do that. Let your wheels turn, folks. And I know that there are a lot of people that just don't want to even think about this stuff. But it's common sense. I mean, why did they redact all the names of the people who were involved in this? They didn't redact all the victims. Well, yeah, they did on some of them. But the bottom line here is that we don't, I don't care about, them. Well, yeah, I do want them to protect the victims, obviously. But I'm more concerned with finding out who was doing this crap. And those are the names that they were so diligent about redacting. They don't want to see anybody implicated on this. And we're not just talking about a few people, folks. I think we all know. We're talking about, hundreds and hundreds of people who were involved in this. The biggest names in politics, in business, in Hollywood, in television, royal families, people from all over the world. Those are the ones that are being protected. And now you have to ask the question, wait a minute. I mean, is this evil personified? How is it that these people who basically are doing things that are the most evil things you can even imagine to do, and they get away with this? So, I mean, if there is a God, I have to ask the question, which God do they serve? And as you just heard from Abe Finkelstein, I have another audio clip there where he comes flat out and says, our God is Lucifer. He comes flat out and says it. And anybody that's done any research whatsoever into the origins of the Khazars, the Khazarian Mafia, if you've done any research into that, you might find out that there is a group of people who do have religious beliefs that are not of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Nope, it's not. It's not even on their radar. Anyway, I'll tell you what. If you're finding this disturbing, you want to throw in your 2 cents about it, I'm going to open up the phone line. Why not? I mean, this is something that we have to discuss because, folks, I do thoroughly believe that the entire reason that we are involved in this war over there in Iran is to make a distraction. And again, when you want to take the attention away from an issue, you create a distraction. And if the issue is as huge, as mammoth, as gargantuan as the Epstein issue and the Epstein files and all the people who are implicated there, if you want to distract away from something that huge, you've got to make a distraction even more bigger and huger. Gargantuan. Why not war? Yeah, that's what I believe this is all about. Well, there's a little bit more to it. We all know that Bibi Netanyahu has had a Jones for getting into Iran for a long time. You know, I mean, the audio receipts that I've got go back to 1995, where he's talking about Iran is weeks away from a nuclear bomb. So he's been screaming about this for decades and decades. Well, now there's a reason why they say, okay, we're going to have to go take care of Iran now, because they need a huge distraction. Well, guess what, folks? Not going to be distracted. No. Because the individuals who are behind the whole Epstein thing, and we all know now, it's not Russia, as much as they may want to say, oh, yeah. Hey, Bongino, have you figured that out yet? You slime ball. Anyway. Okay, let me see. I'm going to have to change gears a little bit, simply because of the fact that, this is a deep rabbit hole. And, of course, you can't go after a certain ethnic group. Oh, there we go. Here's the phones. Okay, let's go to the phones. Okay, let's see the number. Oh, that's got to be Cynthia. Hey there, sweetie. How you doing?
Well, pretty good. I keep hearing reviews that we actually didn't do any kind of nuclear atomic weapon over Hiroshima or Nagasaki, and that those areas may be flourishing communities now, and that they were actually firebombed.
Yeah, I've heard that too. It's sort of like they're backtracking on history. But then again, they're going to have to backtrack a lot when it comes to World War II. People are finding out a lot more about how and why World War II started and who instigated it. And it wasn't Adolf.
Well, so it may be that all this talk about, they were developing a nuclear weapon, they were doing this, they were doing that, nuclear, is a red herring, and is made to get us motivated to pay more tax dollars towards their research programs and their weapons.
Always.
And their military might.
Always. So, we know that they worship the almighty dollar. That is their only motivation. They don't give a damn about, serving God or serving the American people or doing the right thing. They do whatever is going to put money in their pockets, because the almighty dollar is their God.
It calls into question everything we've been told by our government.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're pretty sure they never landed on the moon.
Well,
pretty
yeah.
Sure.
That's a big can of worms. As a matter of fact, let me interrupt you here. Do a little research. There was a guy named James Collier and his brother. They had written a book back in 95, I think it was called. It was called Vote Scam. And he also produced a documentary film. And the film, you can find it. It's called Was It Only a Paper Moon? And he did some research into the so-called moon landing and brought forward a lot of very interesting facts. And I think that's what opened up the can of worms, where people started doubting whether or not we ever went to the moon. So I would suggest go check it out. It's on YouTube. Search out Was It Only a Paper Moon? Very interesting documentary from 30 years ago-ish.
And there's a question about what the moon really is. Is it hollow?
Well, yeah.
Is it actually a station? Is it actually as far away as they claim?
Well, yeah, we can't trust anything. We can't trust NASA. I mean, I don't trust them as far as I could throw a Greyhound bus.
I mean, and now they're talking about this Tartaria, this civilization that has evidence around the planet that we were never told about. How did they hide that? Their control of the media that good?
Well, when you've got people like Robert Maxwell, who was Ghislaine Maxwell's father, and he basically is in charge of all the textbooks that get distributed in all the public schools and in all of the universities and colleges. Yeah, they can print anything that they want and call it fact and history, whatever. But keep in mind that history is written by those who hang the heroes.
You know that I tried to start a class action regarding the fraud that I found in the medical textbooks.
Oh, okay.
I ended up homeless, chased out of my own homestead.
Wow.
So I totally believe that conspiracies totally exists, and that we need to open up our eyes and listen harder and find our elders and protect them as we can. Yes, that's a pitch to help the elderly.
Yeah, really. Really.
Help your friends and neighbors and family that got the vax, because that darn shot is dumbing them down even faster than they were dumbing us down already.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff coming out now about the hokey pokey thingy dingy. And yeah, it is a bio weapon. There's legal proceedings going on across the pond as we speak. And Albert Bourla, Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, Klaus Schwab, they're all named. And basically, there's arrest warrants out for these people. And again, no arrests, no perp walks, no orange jumpsuits and ankle bracelets and handcuffs. No, everybody gets to walk free. You can poison the entire world. You can destroy the crops. You can spray from the skies all kinds of, graphene oxide and lithium and aluminum. You could do all this stuff and you'll never get perp walked. I tell you, the whole damn system's got to collapse. It's going to be a bumpy ride. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sweetie.
We have your great music to smooth it for us, okay?
Well, I do my best anyway. Hey, thank you so much for the call, sweetie.
All righty, bye-bye.
You take care. Bye-bye. Oh, man. What a ride. What a crazy ride.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And as always, you can get More Tank by visiting the website, TheWTFReports.com. Don't forget the word the, T-H-E, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors button, and it'll take you down to our window where you can read all about the Get More Tank formula, this fuel catalyst, and how it works. And you will find that once you start using this, number one, you will see right away more power. When you hit the accelerator, your vehicle takes off. And as you use this, you'll see that your engine runs cleaner, it's more efficient, and after a couple of tanks, you start to see the improvement in your mileage. Now, we all know what's going on over there in the Strait of Hormuz. We all know that the price of oil is going to start going up because of this war that we're dealing with, this huge distraction to keep you away from the Epstein issue. But anyway, that's another issue altogether. So the point is, is that, if you go to the website, Get More Tank, you'll find better mileage, which means money in your pocket. And, hey, what else can I say, folks? If you haven't tried Get More Tank, what are you waiting for? Go to our website, TheWTFReports.com, click on the sponsors page, and Get More Tank. All right, well, let's see. It's 35 minutes past the hour, whatever hour you're sitting in. And quick heads up, tomorrow I've got a bunch of stuff I have to do in the morning. And hopefully, depending upon how efficient I am at getting my chores done, hopefully I'll be back in time to be able to do this show for tomorrow, Wednesday. However, if I don't make it back, don't be surprised. We may do a replay, which would replay today's show, which is cool. But anyway, getting back on track about this Psy-opped. I mean, again, I cannot emphasize this enough. We all know how distractions work. You know, I did a show last week. I called it Squirrel. Yeah. Hey, Squirrel, Charlie Kirk's assassination. Squirrel, Jeffrey Epstein tapes, Squirrel, war on Iran. Squirrel. I mean, we've got so many issues that are being thrown at us left and right and left and right. It keeps us from being able to, focus on one particular issue because we are being bombarded from the top down, left, right, front, back with all these huge controversies, huge problems that we've got. And the more that they're throwing at us, the bigger that they get. And and I can't emphasize this enough. The revelations about what we're learning in those Epstein files, and we're still learning more and more and more, and we're finding out that, yes, our entire country, if not the entire West, is being run by satanic, sadistic, cannibalistic pedophiles. I mean, this is a fact. This is not conspiracy theory. It's all out there. And the thing is that as more and more people around the world wake up to this, and they start to get really pissed off, and we should, they got to throw out another distraction. And I can't help but think that's the timing of this particular conflict that's going on in Iran. But, we are definitely being psy-opped. And as a matter of fact, there was a guy that, I don't know who this was, but this was posted on social media. And apparently this guy was in intelligence and, and studied psychological operations. Anyway, here's the statement.
We are in a psyop. 1,000%. We are in a big-time psyop. I think the powers that be, and this, I've never said this out loud, at least on the internet before, but I think the powers that be are trying to speed up a timeline that was made to take another 60, 70 years because they don't have that time to be around for it. And I think it's either that or it's getting so blatant that they no longer care. They think they're so guaranteed with a success that they don't care. And I'm not saying that I can write you a list right now of who they is.
Sure.
But there's always a they. They have been there a while. But I think that they're trying to speed up some kind of a timeline. And I teach psyops. I'm the guy that teaches psyops, telling you that we are in a psyop. 1,000%. We are in a big-time psyop. And that does not mean that I have some kind of X-ray vision and I can see the puppet masters up above the stage. I don't know. I'm not saying I don't research that stuff.
Right.
But I do research these techniques, and they're definitely here. And it looks like this is the same process that's happened all over the world where psyops were sped up and weren't allowed to mature before the next phase began. And I think people are saying, well, this is bonkers or this is ridiculous, just crazy. Like it's just in your face.
Yeah.
It's from the left, from the right, from everywhere.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with left or right. And I think that is in itself a whole nother discussion.
Yes.
But we're seeing a timeline being sped up. We're seeing things done more and more in the open because there's probably not time for the previous step to mature to get our minds ready to receive the next one.
Yeah, that seems to make sense to me. And yes, as all these revelations are exposed, the powers that be, they've got to create more distractions. And, sometimes you got to force their hands. And maybe that's what's happening. I don't know. I'm still trying to sort all this stuff out. And you got to keep your head on a swivel, especially in these days, folks. And let me see. As a matter of fact, Jennifer Welch, in regard to this issue about the distraction I'm just talking about, we got to have a big war, a really, really big war to distract away from the Epstein issue. We're not going to stop talking about the Epstein issue. And we're not going to stop talking about the influence one particular country has over our government. And we're not going to stop talking about the research into the assassination of Charlie Kirk because he was becoming aware of the undue influence of this other external, international force. People are figuring it out, folks. Here's Jennifer Welch.
There's no easy way to say this other than the United States is being controlled by Israel. All indicators, all signs, all admissions from our dementia-ridden president, from the Department of Defense Secretary, untreated alcoholic Pete Hegseth, Lindsey Graham, all of the players. Israel's the boss. They're calling the shots using American taxpayer money. And guess what they announced, Iran, today? Ayatollah Khamenei has been replaced by Ayatollah Khamenei, someone who's his son, who's even further hard right. So this is obviously going to be months on end. Caroline Leavitt has said that the president will not rule out boots on the ground nor a draft. And we're doing all of this for Israel, a country that will never be satiated as it pertains to the Middle East.
That's true. It seems that Israel, they have a lust for blood. They really do. I mean, just look at the track record. How many of their neighboring countries have they bombed or attacked? Look what they did to the Palestinians. And again, they claim to be God's chosen people, but I have to believe them. But you have to ask the question, which God? And Abe Finkelstein came flat out and said it. Their God is Lucifer. I mean, I'm not making this stuff up, folks. That's what they said. Sometimes you got to believe what they say. And the bottom line here is that you can't criticize them. They've actually codified that into law. As a matter of fact, let me see. Joe Rogan was interviewing. What was this woman's name? I forget. Anyway, here's what she had to say about boycotting Israel, and that was backed up by Rick Sanchez. He did a story about how many states have laws that you can't criticize them. Anyway, here's a segment from the Joe Rogan interview.
There are 30 states in the U.S. that have passed legislation that says you cannot make money at a state institution as an independent contractor unless you sign a contract saying that you will never advocate the boycott of Israel and never engage in the boycott of Israel.
Really?
Yes. 30 states in the U.S. This is the ultimate censorship. This is the black hand of the state coming down and enacting laws that says you cannot speak or advocate for this issue. This is a totally passive action. BDS is what brought down Jim Crow apartheid in the South. BDS is what brought down apartheid in South Africa. And BDS will inevitably bring down apartheid in Israel. But I was given such a contract. I was supposed to speak at Georgia Southern University. And I was given a contract that says you can never boycott the state of Israel. You can never advocate the boycott of Israel.
Are there laws like that about other countries or other?
No. Can you imagine how ridiculous it would be if Putin and by the way, Israeli government officials have gone and advocated and lobbied these state legislatures to pass these laws. It is like the most direct admission of foreign interference I can think of. This is Israel advocating these laws to be changed at 30 state legislatures and them doing it. I mean, can you fucking imagine if Putin did that? Right. Actually had the law of the U.S. changed to flagrantly violate our First Amendment. This is a free speech issue. This is a boycott issue that was constitutionally enshrined by the Supreme Court during the Montgomery bus boycotts. This is our fucking civil liberties. It's so unbelievable that this has happened under the radar, and you have actually a foreign leader bragging about it. I mean, Netanyahu took to Twitter and he was like, we've worked really hard to lobby these states to pass these. I think they're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks because they know it's unconstitutional.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so they don't want to get rid of the law because it's a huge coup for Israel. I mean, you should see the kind of shit that they've done. They tried to sue a Palestinian woman named Suhair for $20 million for defamation because she put a Facebook post online, but they purposefully waited till the statute of limitations for libel was up in the U.S. so then they can use Israeli law. And under Israeli law, libel is just anything that criticizes the government. It doesn't have to be untrue.
Oh, God.
And so they were trying to make that stick. Luckily, that case was thrown out. But
she's an American?
She's an American.
Is in America?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I remember 20 years ago when I was doing the Power Hour with Joyce, we were interviewing former congressional representative Cynthia McKinney, and she came flat out and told us that all members of Congress are forced to sign an agreement that they will never criticize Israel. Now, if this isn't the United States of Israel, I don't know. I really don't know. But the bottom line here is we know that the level of corruption in our government right now is pinned out. And sadly, most Americans aren't even paying attention because it's coming up on March Madness. Yeah, spring training's going on. Here comes the baseball season. Yeah, oh gosh, there's a new movie coming out. We got to go to the movies. Broadcast stations we control, induced complacency the goal. Let people think that they are free. Distractions broadcast on TV. Our influence in Washington makes people do what we want done. Eventually, when we are through, they'll do just what we tell them to. Yeah, it's a lyric from a song I wrote 20-odd years ago. It's been going on for a long time. And now people are starting to say, wait a second. I thought Trump was, America first. I thought he was going to pull us out of all this stuff. I thought he was going to drain the swamp. Remember the first term? Yeah, Hillary. Yeah, we're going to drain the swamp. She should be in prison. Remember all that? And now, here we are in his second term. It's like it's not the same guy. Has he been replaced? Like I said, are we dealing with a clone, with a body double? I don't know, but it doesn't seem to be the same guy. As a matter of fact, James Fishback, who is a candidate for the Florida governor candidate, somebody was talking to him, and here's what he had to say. This is a breath of fresh air. Listen to what James Fishback said. Again, he's a candidate for governor of the state of Florida. Listen to this.
What's your take? Well, there's the ultimate and the proximate. I think the ultimate cause is that we are effectively compromised by Israel. Right. Yeah. Miriam Adelson is an Israeli citizen. She gave Trump $250 million, number one donor to his campaign. This was payback. The proximate reason is Israel came to them and said, look, whatever you want to do, we're bombing Iran tomorrow. And the U.S. realized that if Israel bombed Iran, Iran was going to bomb U.S. targets in the region. And so instead of telling Israel, wait, the only reason you literally exist right now is because of us. We pay for your military. We pay for your country to run. We're not going to let you bomb. We said, all right, go ahead and bomb, and we'll have to bomb with you. Essentially, here's the theory. Be right back. I have to go punch my neighbor because he was about to punch me for punching him.
So it was more like a bluff. We're going to do it regardless. But if the U.S. would have said no, you think they wouldn't have done it?
By the way, no one's talking about the Epstein stuff, are they anymore?
No. There's a theory, and the theory is either they do these things intentionally to divert the public attention or never waste a tragedy.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I think the appeal for Trump was get the Epstein thing out of the news.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about it anymore. No one knows. Right now.
Yeah, I'm going to pause it. He said, get the Epstein thing out of the news. That's what this was all about. Now, there is a lot of talk about this. Israel was talking about, we're going to go ahead and bomb Iran. And then Trump would say, well, wait a second. If you do that, then Iran's going to bomb all of our facilities in the area. It's sort of like that they were going to do that anyway. So anyway, let's listen to the rest of it. There's only about another 30 seconds.
If the UK said, hey, we're going to go bomb Morocco, and you have to help us or we're going to do it, we would just say, no, you're not. Say, no, what do you mean? No, you're not going to bomb. And by the way, we don't fund the UK's military.
Trump was like the first pro-America, America first person that was mainstream. And then everyone kind of spun off into that energy. That you could be different, that you didn't have to be a mainstream politician. And he ran on his own dollar. Then 2024, he took money. And he's a
number one donor.
Completely different president.
Oh, did you hear that? A completely different president. He did take $250 million from the Adelsons, yeah. And he did take a gift jetliner, yeah. Now it's all starting to come out. Maybe this isn't the same Trump. I don't know. Central casting, he's talked about that so many times. But let me see, who was this? I forget who this was. In Congress, they were discussing, the level of corruption. Of course, we all know that the Biden administration was corrupt. We know that there's corruption going on in virtually every administration for our entire lives. So now there seems to be a competition as to who can be more corrupt. I think that Trump or the person that they're calling Trump is basically screwing over the United States. So anyway, again, I don't know who this was. This is taken from the congressional hearings. I'll let you hear it. Here it is.
The president and his family have used the office of the presidency to pocket $1.4 billion plus since he was sworn in. A New York Times analysis entitled Trump's Plundering of America indicates that some of that is a result of the president selling corruption here at home, but much of it relates to the president selling out U.S. interests overseas to make a killing for his family, including giving away sensitive U.S. semiconductor and AI technologies to the UAE, while the UAE pumped $2 billion into one of the Trump family ventures. And then there are all the other Trump deals that are intertwined with tariff or foreign policy matters. Golf courses in Saudi Arabia and Vietnam, Trump hotels and office buildings in other countries, and of course there's the $400 million jet from Qatar. The list goes on and on. By any measure, this is the most corrupt administration in American history. We also see the president wielding U.S. power overseas in a way that advances the interests of his billionaire buddies at the expense of American interests. It was Ron Lauder, who has business ventures in Greenland, who reportedly first put the idea of grabbing Greenland into President Trump's mind. And in the case of Venezuela, President Trump has said he talked to oil executives about toppling Maduro and going into Venezuela before anyone in Congress knew.
Wow. Interesting. So, yeah, people are starting to say, wait a second, maybe Trump isn't as squeaky clean as he wants everybody to think. So, yeah. So let me see. I got a couple of other clips here. Let me see, James. Okay. Justice. Well, let me see here. Okay. There are a lot of folks out there that are looking at all these videos that are being posted on social media, and also on the mainstream media. And again, I point out, I've mentioned this numerous times, that we can expect the alphabet networks to be supporting their undying support for Israel, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, we keep hearing about that. I wasn't listening to it, but I saw that Ted Cruz was talking about the growing anti-Semitism in this country, and I'm not surprised. You know, Ted Cruz and Mike Huckabee and all them, I mean, they are basically suck-ups. And anyway, excuse me, the point is, though, is that there are a lot of folks out there. We saw all of these videos, for the past 2 years of, the horrific massacre that was going on in Gaza. All of the buildings, everything being destroyed, everything, hospitals, schools, university, power plants, water facilities, everything just flattened. And then we see videos of, the Israelis dancing and celebrating and actually sending their high school kids to a location up at the top of this hill where they got these coin-operated binoculars where you can watch the bombings in real time. And then there were other people that were taking their lawn chairs and sitting on the beach to watch the glow of the bombs going off and celebrating. And then, of course, there were some women who were putting on makeup and blacking out their teeth and making fun of all these Palestinians who are being slaughtered and their children being blown to smithereens. Well, now the shoe's on the other foot. And now they're all screaming, oh, these poor Israelis, what are they? They're bombing the civilians. And oh, my God. Well, you know what? There's something called karma. And I don't want to see anybody getting blown up. I mean, I'm a child of the 60s and 70s, give peace a chance. All you need is love. Come on, people, now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, trying to love. Yeah, okay. I don't want to see war. I don't want to see slaughter. But I got to tell you, after what we have witnessed over the past couple of years, ever since October 7th, 6 million, Holocaust, October 7th. It's all a psy-op, and we all know that the October 7th was the Hannibal Directive. We all know that now. And for those of you still buying into that crap, that's why I was saying, we can expect that from the mainstream networks, but OAN, Newsmax, Real America's Voice, all of the alternative news networks that have popped up in the past decade, they're still marching goose step along with this whole thing about Israel. Oh, the poor Israelis, you've got to send them money. Here's this poor old woman. She's got nothing but porridge to eat. Please send your donations now for the Christian Zionist Israeli Relief Fund or whatever the heck it is, as if they're not getting enough money from us. But the bottom line here, there are a lot of people out there that are saying, hey, you know, I hate to say it, but you set the table. You know, what goes around comes around. Now, here's a statement by a guy who's obviously Jewish, and he's admitting how he feels. Listen to this statement. And I think a lot of people are basically sharing the same sentiment. Listen to this.
So I'm going to share something that I've never said out loud. In fact, it fills me with so much shame. But here it goes. I feel a sense of relief when Israel gets hit by bombs. It's like the bad guys are finally getting what they deserve. They're finally getting a taste of what they've been doing to everyone else. And it's a mindfuck. It goes against everything that I stand for. Look, I don't want the bombings of any country. I don't want civilians to die, and I don't want them to suffer. Yet, when it happens here to Israel, a part of me can't help but feel a sense of justice. Justice for all of the horrific things that they've done. And I know it's wrong to feel this way. My family lives there, and the guilt is unbearable for me. But logically, I know that not everyone in Israel supports Netanyahu, and even if they did, they don't deserve this. But I can't deny that part of me that feels a sense of justice when I see them hit. I wish I didn't feel this way. It's not who I am. I feel guilty even admitting it, but these are my private, unspoken thoughts that I'm carrying. I thought maybe it'll be therapeutic to say it out loud, so here we are.
Yeah, I think that he's voicing a sentiment that a lot of us are feeling. I mean, I am so sorry that that innocent people are being killed in Israel. And I do want to remind you, there are a lot of Israelis who have been basically vehemently against the current regime under Bibi Netanyahu. And yes, there have been demonstrations and, you know, people who want to get him out of power. But it seems that every time that an election's going to come up or a lawsuit's going to come up, something happens and Bibi gets away scot-free. So, yeah, there are a lot of Israelis out there that do not agree with what's been going on. And then there are a lot of them that enjoy the carnage. And we've heard plenty of statements along those lines that have been posted on the internet. You know, I mean, there are women out there that saying, yes, there are no innocent people in Gaza. You mean the children? Yes, they're all going to grow up to be terrorists. There was one woman who actually said, yes, we have to get rid of the children because, you know, they're terrorists. I mean, we're talking 6 and 7 years old. And they believe that these children all have to be slaughtered. And we've seen plenty of those videos. So now I'm sorry to say that now the chickens have come home to roost. And there are a lot of people who are fist pumping every time they see one of those missiles go off in Tel Aviv or Rafah or wherever. I mean, Israel is being pounded right now. And yeah, Iran isn't even broken out their big missiles. They're just getting started with those. So there's going to be hell to pay. Now, there's even more stuff that I could get into here about how badly this is going for the United States and Israel. And there's a no-win situation. And the Iranians, they are not going to negotiate. No, they're not going to negotiate until, number one, all of the United States presence is out of the Middle East. All of our bases, everything. U.S., get the hell out of here. Don't you ever come back. And they also want to make sure that Israel is never able to do what they've been doing to not just Gaza and not just the surrounding countries, but to Iran. No, so they're not going to negotiate. Not going to happen. Anyway, oh, what a day, huh? All right, once again, folks, there's a possibility that I may be doing a replay tomorrow. I'll have to see how much stuff I can accomplish in the morning, but don't be surprised if we replay today's show. So, that said, I so much appreciate your listenership. If you're listening on BitChute or Rumble or YouTube or Facebook or wherever, please click like, share, subscribe, make a comment, And, hey, share it with your friends by word of mouth. That's the best advertising. Your friends, your co-workers, your family, people you bump into in the street. So pass the word. That said, God willing, we'll see what happens tomorrow. So anyway, until then, God bless you all. Stay safe. Stay free. And I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe. Take it easy, folks.